Welcome back, everyone. I'm super excited to have you here for this explainer. All right, let's jump right in, shall we? Today, we are unpacking a really fascinating chronological roadmap. It's based on a surprisingly concise, but honestly profoundly powerful set of concepts, the 4 pillars of endurance. Now, if you've ever set a massive, difficult objective for yourself, learning a new language, launching a business, or mastering a complex physical skill, you already know the path is practically never a straight line. But what we're looking at today isn't just a random list of motivational buzzwords. No, it's a highly structured, step-by-step formula. We're going to break down exactly how these 4 pillars lock together, basically forming a bridge from exactly where you are right now to exactly where you want to be. And that brings us to the ultimate million-dollar question. What actually separates those who finish from those who fail? Think about it. It's the core struggle of literally any long-term goal. I mean, we all start out with these great intentions, right? We all get that massive burst of initial motivation. But why do some people absolutely crush it and cross the finish line, while others kind of just fade quietly into the background? Well, mastering the concepts we're about to explore is absolutely crucial because, spoiler alert, this isn't about raw talent. And it's sure not about luck. It's about a very specific sequence of actions. Once you wrap your head around the sequence, you can diagnose exactly where you're stalling out in your own life. And even better, you'll know exactly what you need to do to push right through it. So let's take a look at the big picture here. The source material lays out 4 sequential steps: discipline, consistency, resilience, and commitment. Now, pay close attention to the fact that these are numbered. These aren't just isolated ideas you can pluck out at random from a hat. You can't just skip ahead and start at step 3. You definitely can't skip step 2. They form a completely cohesive chronological process. Basically, each pillar represents a distinct phase of your journey, and every single one demands something entirely different from you. So, let's move forward and see how this whole thing builds right from square one. Section 1. The starting line. It's actually fascinating just how incredibly simple the source material defines this very first pillar. Discipline is simply this. Show up. That's it. Notice it doesn't say perform perfectly. It doesn't say be the absolute best. It just says show up. This is the raw, foundational act of getting yourself to the starting line. When you're sitting there at step 1, honestly, the only victory that matters is overcoming that heavy inertia of doing nothing. Whether that means physically walking into the gym, opening up a totally blank document, or sitting down at the piano, discipline is the spark. It's the physical act of putting yourself in the arena no matter how you might be feeling on that particular day. Moving right along into section 2, the long middle. Because, as we all know too well, that initial spark of discipline, that is only the very beginning of the story. Once you've actually shown up, the game immediately changes. The second pillar is consistency, which our source defines as to keep doing again and again. Notice the rhythmic cadence there? Again and again. This right here is the engine of repetition, the daily grind. This is the exact phase where the shiny excitement of day 1 starts to fade away and the cold reality of the work sets in. Consistency requires taking that initial burst of discipline and stretching it out across time. It's the steady, definitely unglamorous process of compounding your efforts day after day after day. Really think about the nuance here. On day 1, discipline just means showing up once. But by day 100, consistency demands doing it again and again. You see, showing up is fundamentally completely different from the demand to keep doing it. Think of it like this. Discipline is the ignition. Consistency is the fuel that actually keeps the car moving down the highway. I mean, tons of people have the discipline to start a brand new diet on a Monday morning, right? But way fewer have the consistency to make that exact same tough choice on a dreary, rainy Thursday 3 months later. Truly understanding the gap between these 2 phases is an absolute game changer for your progress. Which brings us to section 3, the inevitable fall. Now, I want to get a little serious for a second because this is the exact spot where the journey gets rough. Obstacles and failures aren't just a possibility here, they are a 100% guarantee. Notice the heavy action verbs our source text uses to define this third pillar. Resilience, get back on track when you fall. I love that it explicitly acknowledges the fall. It doesn't sugarcoat it and say if you fall. No, the implication is when. Resilience is framed here strictly as your recovery mechanism. It's the very specific action of correcting your course after a failure, a misstep, or just a massive setback. You showed up, you were doing it again and again, and then, boom, life hit you and you broke the streak. Resilience is the critical pillar that prevents a temporary stumble from turning into a permanent surrender. It's literally the mechanism of getting back on track. Let's visualize the journey we've taken so far. We kick things off at day 1 with discipline, then we build that up to week 4 with consistency, and then right around month 6, we hit the wall. Hard. And that is exactly where we require resilience. Right now, I want you to connect this directly to your own reality. Think about that big, major goal you're pursuing right this second. Which of these 3 stages are you currently battling? Are you struggling to just show up at day 1? Are you trying your absolute hardest to maintain the rhythm at week 4? Or did you recently take a huge hit at month 6 and you're actively trying to summon the resilience to get back on track? Honestly, identifying your current location on this map, that's half the battle right there. Section 4, the finish line. Okay, you've made it through the long middle. You've survived the inevitable fall. And now, finally, the destination is actually in sight. This brings us to the final definitive trait of the end stage. Commitment. Not quit until the finish line. Not giving up. Man, I absolutely love the definitive, absolute language the source uses here. It leaves zero room for misinterpretation. Commitment is not just a feeling, it's an unyielding, ironclad refusal to quit. When your fatigue is totally maxed out, when the goal seems impossibly far away even though you know you're so close, commitment is that final gear you shift into. It's the ultimate boundary that secures everything you've built up through your discipline, your consistency, and your resilience. All right, let's complete our chronological timeline. Look at how beautifully these 4 points interlock with each other. Day 1, week 4, month 6, and finally, year 1, culminating in commitment. You literally cannot reach year 1 without passing through those previous 3 gates. It's impossible. If you fall at month 6 and you lack resilience, you're never going to reach commitment. If you show up on day 1 but lack the consistency of week 4, the whole timeline just shatters. This represents the complete, total arc of endurance. It proves to us that true achievement isn't just one big thing, it's an interlocking system of behaviors. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? Well, here is the complete roadmap distilled directly from our source text into the most actionable active verbs possible. Seriously, memorize this formula. Number 1, show up. Number 2, keep doing again and again. Number 3, get back on track when you fall. And number 4, not quit until the finish line. It completely strips away all the fluff, right? It strips away all the excuses and leaves you with exactly what is required to endure literally any challenge. You've got to keep this roadmap front and center in your mind the next time you feel like walking away from a goal. Which leaves us with this final lingering thought, directly inspired by everything we've just unpacked today. You showed up, but will you cross the finish line? Discipline absolutely got you in the door, but it is going to take consistency, resilience, and a stubborn, unwavering commitment to finally see it through to the very end. The roadmap is right there in front of you. The rest of it, well, that's entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep pushing yourselves, and I will catch you in the next one.